Ever feel like you're doing all the right things and still wondering why your body feels off? You eat well, you train hard, your labs say you're fine, but deep down you know something's slipping. You're not alone and you're not crazy. I'm Daniel Rasmussen, founder of Echelon Center for Longevity, and I've spent 2 decades helping high performers like you to reverse aging, reignite vitality, and finally get answers. On Unbreakable Vitality, we go upstream. We talk peptides, stem cells, precision diagnostic testing, reversing the age of your arteries, all the innovative science-based tools to take back your health span so that your next decades are your best yet. Because aging is real, but decline is optional. Welcome back to Unbreakable Vitality, our Peptide Spotlight series. We're continuing with the metabolic conversation with a deep dive into Tesamorelin. This is a GHRH analog with a very specific superpower. It reduces visceral fat and improves metabolic and liver health. If you've been doing everything right, but still carry fat around the midsection, especially coming from inside your belly, kind of that makes a potbelly look, not necessarily the one that looks like a muffin top. Well, this is linked to inflammation, insulin resistance, and cardiovascular risk. So this episode is for you. And if you want to see how we integrate the peptides like Tesamorelin into full personalized protocols, join us at the Ageless Future Longevity Summit in Seattle. Apply at agelessfutureseattle.com. All right, let's break it down. So not all body fat is created equal. Subcutaneous fat, the kind you can pinch on the belly or the side, is more of a cosmetic issue. But visceral fat, the fat that wraps around your organs, is a metabolic time bomb. Really is. It's strongly linked to insulin resistance, elevated triglycerides, chronic inflammation like CRP and interleukin 6, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NFALD, increased cardiovascular risk. You know, that visceral fat is just loaded with all kinds of nasty stuff. And here's the frustration. Many people can lose weight and still keep their visceral fat. The scale moves, but the risk doesn't. They've still got that inflammatory fat in their body. Why? Because visceral fat is hormonally regulated. It's influenced by growth hormone, insulin, cortisol, and your circadian rhythm. So you have to get all those optimized and stabilized. If those signals are off, your body will protect that fat even during calorie deficits. This is where Tesamorelin becomes relevant. So again, Tesamorelin is a synthetic analog of growth hormone releasing hormone, GHRH. It stimulates your pituitary gland to release pulsatile growth hormone, which then increases IGF-1 in a controlled physiological way, all natural. It's based on your own rhythms. Unlike direct growth hormone injections, Tesamorelin preserves your body's natural feedback loops. This is critical to not creating downstream side effects and problems. Clinical evidence is strong for this. FDA-approved for HIV-associated lipodystrophy. Randomized trials show significant reductions in visceral adipose tissue, or VAT, improvements in liver fat content, and ALT and AST markers in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Favorable effects on triglycerides and insulin sensitivity. And in a placebo-controlled study, Tesamorelin reduced visceral fat by up to 15 to 20% without significant loss of subcutaneous fat, meaning it targets the dangerous fat. Mechanistically, growth hormone pulses, they increase lipolysis, which is fat breakdown. They improve hepatic fat metabolism. They enhance mitochondrial function, support lean mass preservation. In practice, this means better body composition, improved metabolic markers, and reduced systemic inflammatory load. So typical dosage is 2 milligrams subcutaneous each night before bed, ideally 90 minutes away from your last meal to align with your actual natural growth hormone pulses. So you only want to do this for a cycle of minimum 12 weeks to a max of 24 weeks. Depending on your goals and the labs that we see, we have to monitor your insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1, to ensure appropriate response. Fasting insulin and glucose have to be monitored, triglycerides and liver enzymes, and then body composition, like a STIKU body scan or even a DEXA scan if possible. Now, here's where our stacking comes in. And when we pair it with MOT-SC or 5-amino-1-MQ for the mitochondrial and metabolic synergy, you throw in some CJC, ipamorelin in specific cases for growth hormone support, combine it with a detox and drainage protocols to reduce inflammatory resistance, get those drainage pathways open. And then you've got to do lifestyle anchors to anchor it in, protein intake, which preserves lean muscle mass. Resistance training is critical to amplify the growth hormone effects. And then you've got to lock in sleep quality, critical for growth hormone pulsatility. We typically place Tesamorelin in a recharge phase of our programs after inflammation and drainage are addressed so that the body can respond cleanly to the signal. So it doesn't become just another noise. And Tesamorelin is actually FDA approved for a specific indication, but when used off-label for metabolic health, it must be handled with care. Potential considerations are you could get mild fluid retention in the early weeks. You could have transient increases in IGF-1. Need to avoid use in active malignancy without clearance from your oncologist. There's real dangers here with regenerative peptides. So avoid online research peptides. Risks include incorrect formulation, degradation, contamination, sterility issues, inaccurate dosing. All of those are possible. At Ageless Future, again, we only use 503A and 503B compounding pharmacies. They're compliant. They're guaranteed purity and potency, and they've been tested for dosing parameters. We run baseline and follow-up labs. We personalize the dosing and duration. We integrate with a full metabolic and lifestyle plan. So this is not a standalone shortcut. It's a precision tool with a larger strategy. Remember that a single peptide, again, is like that guitar, the solo guitar player. And it can sound great on its own, but then you add the other instruments, the vocals, the drum, the bass, and now you've got a band, you've got music. And that's how we approach longevity. So again, the magic is in the stack. Our medical team designs personalized peptide protocols based on advanced diagnostics and your specific goals. So each instrument plays in sync. How many of you have heard a band that's completely out of tune, completely out of time? They're not synced. It's just a bunch of noise. We want the signal, not the noise. So if you're ready to experience what a true orchestrated longevity plan looks like and feels like, join us at our next Ageless Future Longevity Summit in Seattle. Apply at agelessfutureseattle.com. And then next week, we're going to do a deeper dive. We mentioned GHK copper a couple weeks ago. We're going to do a deeper dive into that one because there's some interesting hidden aspects to it regarding gene regulating benefits with powerful effects on skin, tissue repair, and inflammation. We're going to understand that better. I'll see you there. If you're feeling like your energy, your edge, or your clarity just isn't what it used to be, you're not alone. But you're also not stuck. Every week on Unbreakable Vitality, we explore real strategies to reverse aging, reclaim vitality, and rewrite what's possible. If today's episode gave you even one insight, pass it on. Then go take the free vascular age quiz at echelon-longevity.com/quiz to see how your body's aging. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us because your future isn't on autopilot. You are building it and you're just getting started.